Hey guys, we're going to talk about another relatively inexpensive Fura knife. This is actually on flash sale right now for about $15, and this is a very simple slip joint folder. It claims to be D2. It's not. We're just going to be honest here. It's got an interesting look to it. Actually, the reason why I grabbed this one is because it has a kind of a nice look to it. It's not what you normally expect out of these, and kind of has that old straight razor kind of look to it. As much as this looks like carbon fiber, it is not. It just feels like a textured G10 to me. I don't think they advertise it as carbon fiber, but this thing works with a double detent, which is basically there's a detent that holds it closed and a detent that holds it open, so it has very little resistance as far as opening and closing. So if that is important to you, this is not a liner lock, this is not a frame lock. It's a simple slip joint with a double detent on the blade. You can see there your flipper tab is up top. You can hear it's definitely gritty, but I have not cleaned it yet. But yeah, kind of neat. For 15 bucks, I'll take it. I think ergo-wise, this thing's actually quite nice because you can get a very good grip. The handle's a little bit on the longer side. You can get a good grip on this very well, and it holds in the hand well. And the grip on that is actually quite nice. And you can get this kind of forward grip. I do not like this grip, and I'll tell you why. It's because I tend to, when you can see I just did it right there, I tend to want to push with my thumb and disengage it, and I really don't want to lose this little guy. That's one of my favorite fingers. So yeah, I'm not crazy about that, because I kind of feel like if I want to do that, I can't, I want to push down with my finger and it disengages it. So you can see that the thumb studs act as a kind of lock bar for this thing as well. Alright, blade centering is okay. You can see it has some rather thick liners in there for being just a slip joint, and you have couple of pillars in the back to provide it with some extra strength. Really kind of wide pocket clip there, so if you do wear really super heavy jeans, it does have a profile that resembles, you know, a Spyderco, and that is super wide. So opens pretty smooth though. I kind of like that. But yeah, it has a nice look to it, guys. I think, you know, now let's get to value. $14. It claims to be D2 steel. I can guarantee you this is not D2 steel in any way, shape, or form. How do I know this? Number one, I've tested it with cutting and edge retention, and number two, I've sharpened it. I took the Lansky to this thing and put a 20-degree Lansky edge on it, and you can see it took a nice little edge. You know, it's actually really sharp and did well, but it sharpened way too easy. D2 would never sharpen that quickly. I was able to start to finish completely reprofile this with the 20-degree edge in like less than half an hour, so that is not D2 steel. And then with my edge retention testing, I found that no way is it D2 also, because with cardboard, I found it lost that hair shaving edge in like 20 feet of cardboard. Real D2 steel can cut 40, 50, 60 feet of cardboard before it loses that hair cutting edge. Not that it's completely dull, and you know, even after, you know, cutting that cardboard, it still, you know, will cut paper if you hit it at the right angle. You know, obviously, you know, there is a skill involved in slicing paper, which is why, you know, a lot of these channels can kind of fake and show you a dull knife, but this is not what I would consider sharp anymore. You know, it will not take any hair off my arm, so I don't consider that sharp. It cuts paper nicely, but the reason why it cuts paper nicely is because I have a nice 20-degree Lansky edge on there. Now that Lansky edge, and one of the benefits of using that kind of system, I hate to digress, but is that you get a very nice even edge, and it will hold a working edge for a lot longer. Now when you just kind of hand sharpen things, you know, everything's a little whoopy wavy, you know, and you can tend to get, you know, good performance, but when you have that nice even edge, it tends to keep that working edge a lot longer. So this will be able to cut paper for a long time. In fact, I've been cutting a lot of stuff with it the past couple of days, and it still hasn't lost that ability to cut paper. It only lost that ability to cut hair, which, you know, D2 steel should not have lost. D2 should hold on to that for a long time, and it should be very difficult to touch up. You shouldn't just be able to touch it up with a ceramic rod and a little bit of you know, in like 5 minutes. D2 does take some time. So my guess is this is I don't even think it's 8CR13 MOV, guys, because my experience with that is an 8CR MOV. Holds an edge better than this. I actually think this is that, was it the brain fart, the the Swiss Army knife steel. What is it, 17N28 or whatever, or 17C28N? That Sandvik steel that the Swiss Army knives use. It's pretty soft. The Mora stainlesses use it as well. This steel reminds me of that as far as how it sharpens, that it does take a very, very fine edge, guys. This takes a very fine edge. So not to say it doesn't. It does take just a nice laser sharp edge. It just doesn't hold it. Very similar to that steel. Whereas I kind of feel like 8CR13 MOV, you know, it takes a nice sharp edge, but it holds that hair cutting, you know, a little bit longer. So I feel like it is on that kind of lower end of the steels. But I like the design, guys. I like that this is a little just $15, you know, straight razor looking slip joint, you know, kind of a cool look to it. You know, nice little addition to the collection for 10-15 bucks. Is this a hard use knife? No. Is this, you know, something I would put in a survival kit? No. Is this something I would EDC? No. You know, there's not a ton of huge uses I would put to this, other than just the fact that it is kind of a cool little slicer. You could definitely use it for food prep because it does have that kind of interesting blade shape, and you can actually cut with your hand under it. You know, a lot of knives you can't, so you could definitely use this for food prep. Being it is that kind of weird shaped blade, it isn't the best for opening packages and whatnot. So I think this really is more just for the guys who like to collect cheap knives more than anything, and they're out there. I know you guys do. I look at the affiliate sales, and I know you guys buy knives like this all the time. So yeah, so like I'm saying, guys, not something I would EDC. I might EDC this for a week, but I would get bored with it. There's better knives out there. Let's just be honest. There are. It's just that's the problem with this, is there's better knives. You know, the only thing this has going for it is look. You know, there's nothing else that looks like it on the market, and it's 15 bucks, so it's fun to play with and screw around with and have fun with, and that's about it. So hope you guys enjoyed. That is the Fura Gear D2 knife, even though it's not really D2. Don't tell anyone. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed.